G'day folks, in this video I'll show you how you can solve the Radiolarian 3. This copy of the Radiolarian 3 is a Chewy's puzzle copy. I did not buy it directly from him, bought it from another person who had previously bought it from him, so it's second hand, but in general it's turning really nicely, and I believe it took an awful lot of time and effort to get it to that point. I will say though, there are situations, and I just can't turn it quickly because of this. I've had at least 2 pops where I've just done an absolutely normal turn, vaguely quicker than that, and pieces have popped out, which is not good, but I guess I'm getting used to these sort of puzzles. You can work out what I mean by that. Now, the stickering. So this is obviously a Radiolarian. It's an icosahedron. It's a 20-sided puzzle. So there are 20 faces, and the faces turn like this, and obviously needing 20 separate sticker colors. You can just see here, I'm trying to turn that back, and I did have a little bit of catch there. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about. 20 separate colors. They're actually done pretty well, and I think there might be some spares as well. The worst is probably these 2 yellows. They're really, really close. They're separate colors. They're those dark yellows. There's also, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that's really very close together. You'd expect it with some yellows and possibly some blues. Maybe some greens is normally the issue, but that's not the case here. So I haven't had a huge issue with the colors, which is great. I will shout out for that. Well chosen. So I've been wanting one of these for a long, long time, and the Radiolarian 3 is part of a series of Radiolarians that was produced years ago, at least 10 years ago. And for some reason, the 3rd Radiolarian is the one that just seems to have been picked up by people, and a lot of modifications of that particular puzzle. So this one, you can see where the cuts are. It's a face turner, and there are 3 turns each time. So if you look at those corners, you can see if I don't want to jumble this, that's the first turn. I'm turning at 120 degrees, 240 degrees, back to start. I'm going to be very clear, I am not going to be jumbling in this solve, and possibly not in any solves. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, this is an absolute killer puzzle already. So it's hard enough, and it's a little bit like Aton's Star, just full on colors at you. Can't really see what's going on, and it's definitely hard enough. But the other thing is, I'm not convinced that the jumbling adds enough to warrant my pain. And it does cause issues with jumbling, and I can give you a great example of this, the Praxicopter 3, which I've still got on the go, and I solved that without jumbling, and I was pretty happy with myself, and I thought, okay, now it's time to jumble it. I did some jumbling. I can't actually get it back to unjumbled form. The reason for that is because it shapeshifts when it's not jumbling, and because of that, it's just so difficult. I will at some point, I hope, and I expect to, but it's really hard, and I don't want the same sort of thing to happen here. The nice thing about this is if you don't jumble it, it retains the shape that it's currently in. Makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so I want to talk now about how I came up with the sequences that I found. And the same sort of way that I would do it on most puzzles, it's just sometimes it takes a little bit longer, a bit harder to see what's going on. The first thing I'm going to try is any kind of 1-1 commutator edge piece series. And I guess the most obvious one was this sort of thing here, just an up. Even now I'm being very ginger on my turns, up, up, down, down, like that. And there's a few ways you can do that. One is just sort of through there. Another one is through here. So you've got that big, massive, large piece as the central piece, I guess, that sort of thing there. And what I discovered was when we did this one, it moves around basically everything. It moves around edges, corners, pentagons, what else? The centers. And of course, these little tips here, I'm not sure what I'm calling them. Let's call them petals. I don't know for a better word, but there's these things that there are 5 around each corner. So it moved around everything. Okay, what about this sort of piece here? When I do this move, the intersecting piece is from that pink center back to this little petal on the end there. So those were the pieces that were moved around. And what you'll notice there is that there are no edges involved. Here's an edge, but they are not actually affected. Even though that edge moves with this turn, if you look at that yellow edge there, it moves there, then it comes back. It's not actually part of this intersecting part. So that's good. So my thought was, okay, with this one, when that was part of the intersecting, that's what I'll use to place edges if I need to use that. Fine, so edges come first. Then this one, I could have a choice of, well, what's involved? Petals, corners, pentagons, or centers. Now, I then tried to find other sequences. So obviously I went for the corner piece series and I thought, what can I do? Well, there's two options here for the corner piece series. One is to hold this upper face with the triangle pointing away from you and say, I'm going to do an upper turn there and then a right face turn like that and continue. And I discovered that that one would produce different results to this one when I hold an upper face with the triangle pointing towards me. That's my upper face, and then I come around here like that. So I found that one of them did centers, one of them did corners. The interesting thing was that the one that does centers does it pure. And just looking at that, the one that is doing centers here is this one, and it just moved 3 centers. Where are they? I can't even think now what they are. That one, and that one, I think, or is it that one, and that one? We'll get to it later in the solve. But it moved them around pure. Nothing else was touched. And I thought, okay, good. So this thing, I don't need to worry about centers. Then, what about the other one? The other one ended up moving around corners, but it also moved around the tips. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, edges first, then pentagons, because pentagons were the next easiest thing to do. There's 60 of them, and it's just an up, down, down to place them. That would still leave me corners, petals, centers. The centers are pure, so they can go last. So that leaves me corners and petals. Well, the corners were another corner piece series. So I decided, well, either for that corner piece series, I could either do the corners or the petals, depending on what worked. So then it was a question of, can I find a pure rotation or pure cycle for the corners or a pure cycle for the petals? Well, as it turned out, I found a pure cycle for the petals, which meant they were fourth. So this is kind of how I approached it and how I came up with the sequences. Edges first, then pentagons, then corners, then petals, and finally centers. Now the nice thing is, when you're down to the centers, you're so close to home, it feels good. The not nice thing is these petals here take forever. There are 60 of them, and it's just so long to do them. And I found that it's almost impossible to get 2 done at a time. You might say, well, hang on a minute. Aren't there 60 of these pentagons as well? There are, but there are 3 colors of each. So it's much, much easier. So I definitely found the petals to be the hardest, really, to come up with a sequence that would move them around as I wanted. But I am pretty happy with the sequence. Just to give you a sneak peek, it's 12 moves long. That's the longest sequence of the thing by far. So really, for a puzzle of this complexity, I'm reasonably happy with the method. It's scrambled now, and I'm certainly not going to be doing every single piece on this puzzle. I think what I'll do is do all the edges, or at least some of them, give you a good idea of how to approach it. What was next? The pentagons. I certainly won't do all of them because you'll very quickly get the hang of that. And after that would be the corners. Definitely do at least some of them. After that was the petals. 100% guarantee I will not be doing all the petals, but I'll certainly show how to do it. And finally, the centers. Now, when I was doing this, I was kind of going, I wonder if there's a block building way to do this. And I'm very interested in exploring that. So perhaps in another video later, I might do a block building method if I can figure it out, in the same way as I did it for Aton's star and the Bauhinia dodecahedron many years ago. All right, well, it's been re-scrambled because I did a whole bunch of the edges and then discovered that the camera was doing one of those things where the puzzle goes like that and eventually just goes off the screen. So I'm really hoping this time it doesn't do that, because that was kind of frustrating. Okay, so how am I going to start with the edges? The first thing is I'm going to choose a color, and I would normally choose white. Doesn't matter what color, but I'm going to choose white here. there's no color that's really similar to the white, which is good. And so I'm going to find an edge. There's a white-orange edge. There'll be two other white edges, and I need to know whether they go here or here, like which configuration do they go. So I'm just going to find another white edge, bring it over. There's one there. Is there a closer one? Probably one here. So I'll bring this one over just using normal simple turns and see if I can get it onto the same face. And I can't turn it on because the white will be on this side. So I'll just turn it up to here. Turn it around like that. Now, what I want to know is if this is the correct position for that white pink. So I can tell that by looking at a corner. If this was correct, then I should see a corner that goes pink, white, orange, anti-clockwise. So let's find a corner, if we can, that does pink, white, orange. I do have one, but you'll notice it's going clockwise. So what that tells me is that the white pink actually needs to be here. Okay, that's fine. I can just turn that off temporarily. Turn this around and put it back. Now the corner should be going orange, white, pink, anti-clockwise. And that clearly must do that because we just saw that it was pink, white, orange, clockwise. And there we go, orange, white, pink, anti-clockwise. Okay, so that's almost the most important bit. Obviously, if you get that wrong at the start, you're going to have a lot of fixing up to do. So the third white edge will go in this position. I've just got to locate it. And where is it? There. Okay, so I've just got to bring that edge just up to the same face with simple turns initially and just hope that it orients correctly. In this case it does. There'll certainly be occasions where an edge doesn't, and I'll be clear on how to go about dealing with that. So I've got the three white edges. Now let's call that the bottom face. You notice that I'm not concerned as to which face I started on. It could be any face. The centers aren't fixed. So in actual fact, the centers are going to be the very last piece type that I do. So that has now become my white face. And I'm also going to treat that as the bottom face. Here's the top face up here. And I'm going to just build the edges up from the bottom upwards. So if I look, for example, at this white pink edge here, there are two other edges which are going to be both pink edges. Then I kind of move around and there's this single edge sitting here. Move around a little bit more. Now the white edge, white red edge, there'll be two reds that go here, then a single edge, and then two orange edges that go here and the last single one. You can see that that single edge is a little bit higher than these ones, and it's going to be simpler to put in, I suppose, or simpler to do in last if I can get these two in first and not have to worry about that. So that's the approach I'm going to take. Going to just start with one of these faces. Let's start with the pink. There'll be two pink edges, and I've got to do something similar to go which pink edge goes here, which goes here. Now, obviously with this pink, I'm talking about a dark pink, not that light pink. So let's locate a couple of pink edges. There's one, pink yellow, and I'm not sure yet if that's going to go here or here, but what we can do is the same sort of thing and just look at a corner that would result. So a corner here would be red, white, pink, something. So I'm going to look for a corner that has red, white, pink, something going clockwise. There it is, red, white, pink, yellow. Okay, so it's this yellow one. I do have two quite similar yellows. So that's the slightly brighter one, a little bit darker, a little bit duller. So I'm not really sure which one that is. I think it's the duller one, just looking at that there. So red, white, pink, yellow, that tells me that if I come back here, go to that pink face, the pink yellow goes in that position. Okay, so that pink yellow is just sitting right there. So that one I can just turn straight in. That then leaves this pink one, my third pink one, which must go here. So again, locate that. This can be quite time consuming initially because the pieces are just all over the place. As you get more done, there's less places they can be. Okay, so I've got this pink light brown, which has got to go into that position. Let's turn it up to around there. I think that's going to misorient. The brown's going to be here and here. So I will just turn it this way and come around this corner. Instead of going across, I would go around that corner. Let's have a look. When I turn that around to there now, I can see that the pink will turn correctly into its position so that it's oriented correctly. So pink, brown. Okay. So as I said, I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to move around to the next two. These will be oranges. So once again, I'll locate an orange edge. There is one there, and I'm not sure if it goes in this position or this position. So let's say that it's this position. Then I should find a corner that goes white. Let's have a look. In fact, I'll go green, orange, white. There should be a green, orange, white, red corner, if that is the correct position. Green, no, that doesn't look like it is, because that looks the other way. So I don't think it's that position at all. So I'm going to come back, and again, where is my white face? Okay, there it is. I think it's over here. So if that was the case, then I should find a pink, white, orange, green corner. Pink, white, orange, green. There we go. Pink, white, orange, green. Okay, definitely that's where it belongs. So this orange green's got to turn around to there. Because I haven't done this one yet, I can just turn it into that position, use this as a third piece, and then replace which was the piece, the white, orange here, and then put that one back. So we've still got those pink ones that we did. The whites are still in position, but now the orange green is there. So that leaves the last orange edge, which is probably right next to it. Pretty close, orange blue. So I need to get the orange blue. I'll sort of move it away, I think, I just don't want to disturb anything I've already done, but at this stage, not a lot of stuff has been done. Okay, the orange blue's got to go there. Let's initially just turn that. I think that's the right orientation. So can I simply, I think I can actually just turn it in, because I don't think I'm going to disturb anything I've already done. The pinks are still there, the whites are still there, and both the oranges are done. Good. Okay, next one I've got red. And so again, let's find a red edge. There's a red yellow. So that's going to go one of these positions. My white face is there. I can happily turn it like this without disturbing anything. And in fact, I could do that if that's the right orientation. The red will go there. No, that's not. So if I turn it around to there, the yellow goes there, and it's going to land on this face, which is actually a red face. So I do need to go up and around this corner just to reorient it, turn it down to there, and put it into position. Now, is that the correct position? Well, again, let's look for a corner that's going to go white, pink. What is this going to do? White, pink. I've got yellows everywhere. Maybe that is not the corner. This is slightly confusing because of the yellows. They're so similar here. And I've got... Now, is that yellow actually part of anything? Yes, it is. It's the pink yellow. Okay. What am I looking for here? White, pink. Let's actually go this way. Yellow, red, white, pink. That's what I'm looking for. Yellow, red, white, pink, if that is the position of that piece. Yellow, red, white, pink. It's similar but not. Yellow, no, it can't be. Red, white, pink is there. There's no yellow next to it. So that's telling me that red, yellow must belong here. Again, I can use this piece as a third piece, just to place that without disturbing the other stuff I've done. If that's the case, I should see a corner that says orange, white, red, yellow. Orange, white, red, yellow. Beautiful. Okay, so that leaves the last red edge to go here. And that red edge is there. Okay, now I've got to be a little bit more careful now because I've done a few pieces and I don't want to disturb what I've done. This one is actually in that position that I'm about to be doing, so I don't want to disturb this orange green, so I'm just going to have to temporarily turn it up and then return that orange green. Okay, here's my red purple. I'm going to get it to the top face because I can position it from the top face where I need it to be. And it's got to go here, and the top face is here. There's my piece. Let's bring it to here, and I'll move it down this way and just see if that's going to correctly orient. So the red would go to there, which would go to there. So that is not correct. So let's bring it to the top and just see if I can bring it around this way. Red's going to go where? Around to here. I actually still want to can do that without disturbing anything. Red to there, I think that's good. Okay, so the red position comes to there. Yep, that's looking really nice. Okay, so we'll turn that and 3-cycle that home. So we are using those 1-1 commutators a little bit more now that we've placed the first few pieces. All right, let's take stock. I've got the 3 white pieces. For each of those, I've got the 2 edges that correspond, the 2 oranges, the 2 pinks. Now it's time to get the ones just above them in between. These are very simple to find because they must be, for example, green, brown. Green, brown has to go there to match these 2 colors. So I'm looking for green, brown, or yellow, purple, or yellow, blue. And by the looks of it, that yellow, blue is sitting exactly where it should be. Okay, so green, brown, and what did I say? Yellow, purple. There's a yellow, purple. That's got to go and sit here. Again, it's just a matter of moving it around without disturbing what I've already done. The yellow will be there. That's going to land to there, so that's no good. Let's turn it. It's still not going to change it doing that. So what I will do is bring it back and up to the top face and around. Should turn it that way and around this top corner, and then bring it down like this. Now the yellow, if I do bring it down to that position, I could choose there or there. So I'll just try here. Yellow goes there and then onto that. I think that's good. So I still now need to do this little, this is catching a little bit, just turning it very, very gingerly. As exciting as explosions on camera are, I don't want it to happen. Okay, that has been placed into that position. So we've got the yellow, purple. We move around. We've got that yellow, blue. The last one here is this green. What is that? A green, brown. Light green and that pale brown. Where is it? There. Okay, now where is that in relation to things? That is here, so I'm going to once again just turn that to the top face so I can maneuver it where I need to. It's got to go to that position. It's currently here, which is not quite the top face, but it's close. I can certainly move it as I need to. Okay. I'll turn it above and we'll see. If I turn it to there, the green's going to go there and there. That's wrongly oriented. So what happens if I think if I just come down this way, that's better. So the green will be where that maroon is, and then it'll come around to there, and that looks good. So that's now in a position to cycle. Okay, so that one is home. So looking at the white face, we kind of look around and you can just follow this line of edges and the colors all the way across here. So they are done. The next part of the edges is going to be the next line. And if you sort of look at the white as the bottom, there's my top face. What's the next line? Well, I've got a piece here. So this is pink green. That one, the green purple, this blue yellow, the yellow yellow, the green something, and the black aqua. I think that's 6 pieces I just counted. They are the 6 that I want to look at next. And you can see that they can simply be turned down into their position without disturbing anything else. So how do we know what they are? Well, that's the beauty of what we've just done. For example, we had this red face done. We had this orange face done, and we said this one must be yellow blue. Now, this face has a yellow red and a yellow blue. This piece must be the last of the yellows. So the only tricky thing might be I do have another yellow face over the other side, so I'll need to just be aware of that. So I might do this yellow first actually. I still can't tell if this is the darker or the lighter yellow. Just as an example, there's a duller, there's a lighter. I feel like it's the lighter. So let's find a lighter yellow edge if I can. That's the yellow purple, which is not the same color, and it's already in place anyway. It could be this one. This yellow, pale yellow, just to confuse things. Let's get that up to the top face. Probably going to displace something I've already done here at some point. It's got to go there. Let's firstly just see if I turn it to that position. Remember I said I could just move it around. If I turn it down, that is going to be misoriented. So I want to bring it up to the top face and then turn it around like this. Now, will that actually change anything? It should. I can just rotate and then turn into position like so. It has not affected the stuff I've already done. Now, because of the yellow issue, I think that is the correct piece, but I'm still going to check with some corners. I should be seeing purple, red, yellow, pale yellow, anti-clockwise. Purple, red, yellow, there it is. Purple, red, yellow, pale yellow. Okay, excellent. Got to get my bearings again. There's the white face. Which one did I just do? That one there. Let's move along. What's the next one? This sort of bluey piece there. There's a blue aqua edge, which is it on the top face? I think it is actually on the top face. So we'll bring that closer. It's got to go to this position. Let's turn it down and see if that's good. Yes, it is. Lovely jubbly. This one here is the light green, which is the light green, must be the light green pink because it's sitting there. But you can see if I just turn it down, it's going to misorient. So I will turn it up to the top face, bring it round that corner. Now turn it down this way and I should have success. I do. Okay, just moving along. I think that's 3 of them. This one, the light brown. I reckon it's that piece. Can it be that piece there? It's a light brown with some sort of beigey, creamy something, which is actually not the same. Or is it the same as that one? This is where it gets slightly confusing. Let's just see where we're at. Actually, did I do, now that I look at it, just going, what have I've definitely done that yellow, yellow. What was the next one I was supposed to do? I thought it was this blue one, which I thought I had placed. Maybe I've done what I've said and actually displaced that piece. I don't know. The next one, it's not that one. It's actually this one, which was the green, which was that green pink. Okay, that's back in. I reckon I've done precisely what I said and displace a couple of pieces. Now, that brown one, is that piece? It's got to go there. I'm going to move it to here. Brown goes there. I don't think that's the direction it goes. Let's put it back to the top. Move it around that corner. And now, turn it into position. Looks like the right color, doesn't it? The only issue for me is why is that little pale yellow there different to that color? I think it is. Very, very slightly. Okay, that at least makes sense of that. All right, what's the next one? I've got this yellow edge of some kind. I reckon it's that yellow light blue sitting right there. This one, that yellow blue, is going to be a purple something or other. Is that handy? It's not that one because that's in place. There's a purple green over here. And that purple green is the next lot that I'm going to do. So I think I can happily, going to move that purple green up to the top. Just return any pieces there. Let's go back to this purple face and place it here. There's the purple green. Which way do I need to come down? Purple's going to go to there. I think that's wrong. So we'll go around that corner, bring it down, place it in position. I think that's looking good. And I think the reason I was doing that was because this was the yellow that I needed. And that yellow is now out. It's sitting there. So let's move that to the top. That purple's still in. That's where the yellow is going. That brown is still there. Beautiful. Okay. Yellow's got to go there. I reckon that's the correct orientation. So going to turn the face and then put that on. I think that's 5 out of the 6 that I've done. There's my bottom white face. Let's check. Yellow, blue, purple, green. That looks good. The next one, I've got a yellow, beige. Got this blue aqua. This one's supposed to be green, something that's green pink. This one is the brown pale yellow. There you go. I think it's 6. Okay. So the 6 along that line now appear to have been done. What does that leave us? There's my top face. So here's my white, which is bottom. Here's my top. I've now got the same kind of thing that I had when I started. I've got, if that's the top face and that's a top face edge, I've got 2 here and then 1 slightly lower. 2 here, 1 slightly lower. You can see what I mean. So I'm just going to work my way around here. I technically probably should do in fact, I will do that, the next one up, which is these 3 pieces. And I can tell what they are because this is the purple face with the purple green. This is a yellow face with a, I don't know, pale yellow or beige or something. That's got to be green, beige. You can see it's right there. It's in its position but flipped. Okay, so to get it out and back correctly, I'll move it firstly up to the top face. These haven't been done, so I can happily displace any of them. But I probably want to do my 4 turns now every time. Okay, move it around that corner, and now I should be able to place it with the same 3 cycle, just going the other way. What was my 4th move there? Was there a 4th move? No, that doesn't matter. Okay, that hasn't been done. All right, you can see the green beige is there. Moving around, the next one of these vertical ones is going to be this one, and this will be the aqua pink. Where's the aqua pink? Aqua pink is right there. So let's get that to the top initially. Again, always just going, what is my bottom face? What is my top face? That's bottom, that's top, that's aqua pink. Okay, just turn it up to the top. Move it out of the way. Undo. Now, where did it go? It went here. Yes, that's slightly below these other ones. If you've not played with one of these, it's far more difficult than it may look on camera to just keep your eyes on the colours and where you actually are at any one time. That's all I'm going to say. Pink's going to go to there. I think that means it should be correctly oriented. Let's 3-cycle that. Yes, that one is done. There's another 2. And then this one should be a yellow, blue. Like that piece over there. Okay, so once again, I'm going to, my white face is my yellow blue face, so bring that up to the top. It's now on the top face. I can come back to here and place it. Is that correct orientation? That's the yellow, that's the yellow. No, I think it's got to go around like that. That looks good, okay. Alrighty, that's looking awesome. So next I have 2, always keeping this white face on the bottom, so 2, 4, 6 pieces that I want to do. I want to end with 2 sitting here next to each other so that I can use them to get these ones on top. So how about I start here? This one is going to be, you can just look at what's on the top and say, well, I'll place that one. And a lot of times that's pretty smart. And maybe I should do that here. I really just want to end with 2. That's why I'm going around in a logical manner. Let's see. The top face happens to be a grey face. So anything that's not grey is fair game. Like aqua black. Gotta love that sticker, by the way. Aqua black. Where does that belong? Well, this is the aqua face. And so there's only one more aqua sticker, so it's got to be here. So if I turn that around, all I need to do is get it so that it's positioned so that it'll cycle into position using this top face. So for example, move its position up, put it on, undo, and the aqua is sitting there. I've also got this black beige, which is clearly going to go here. So the only question is it oriented correctly? Now, if I turn it to there, I can see that is not going to orient correctly. So let's, instead of that, I'll turn it around the corner and I'm going to bring its position over to here. Now, this piece I have already done. So I can happily turn that out the way, but I've got to remember to put it back. Again, trying to avoid a pop. That's the position that I want the black piece in. And if you look at the colouring, I want the black where the maroon is. And you'll see that because we moved it around the corner, that should now happen pretty nicely. Turn it up, put it on, undo, undo, and then undo this setup move to get that piece back. Okay, so the 2 blacks are done. Great. Let's move around. What's next? I've got a green. Do I have a green at the top? No. What about this one? A light blue? I do have a light blue. So the light blue piece, which is this light blue. Now, can that be correct? Let's just have a think about that. That's a light blue brown. If that is light blue, we're saying that's brown, which means there must be a brown green somewhere as well. Ah, there is. I think we're good there. So the light blue goes to here. Well, that is oriented nicely. So let's go ahead and place that using the top face. Okay, that is done. And let's get this one done, which was that brown green, which is currently sitting over here. So up to the top. Go the long way, turn it off, put it back, and where does that go? Right here. That also is nicely oriented. Okay, so I think we had those 2 blues. Where's my white face there? And it wasn't the 2 blues, the 2 aquas. No, the 2 blacks. There we go, because that aqua pink was the one in the middle. The 2 blacks we did. That was already done. Now we've done the 2 browns. That was already done. These will be the last 2 pieces that I will now use to help place the top face. So there are actually only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces remaining to place. So this face, if we look at the colouring, there's a pale yellow and there's a maroon. So this is the maroon face. That's the maroon grey, which is going to go there. That's the maroon pink. Now, I can happily, at the moment, I could just turn this maroon pink around, but I really want to do these pieces last along with this one. So I'd like to get these pieces first. So let's have a look. This must be a grey brown, which is sitting there. So I want to get the grey to the top. And at the moment, it's not super simple to do that because it's misoriented. So what I'll do in order to get that to the top is move it around to here and then put it on the top. So a little bit of a couple of moves of setup. That one and then that one. Oh, is that my top face? Yes, okay. Move it to the top, turn it off, undo. Now, which direction was it? Was it back there? Okay, this is where I've got to really think about this to not muck up two very simple moves. That's not the black grey that matters. I think. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Okay, I think I've avoided disaster there, and these are the two bits that I'm trying to do. And I wanted that grey brown in position, which means I can now just turn that around. Okay, so that one's done. What about this one? It must be the grey black. Okay, the grey black is sitting here. Again, it's not going to turn up to the top to orient correctly, so I will move it around to here and then involve this piece as well. Okay, so once again, I'm going to turn this face anti-clockwise. Going to turn this face anti-clockwise and then put it here and involve this piece as a third piece. And now I should just be able to turn that clockwise and this one clockwise, and things should be back to where they were. Everything's looking pretty good there. There's my white face. These are the two here. Let's have a look how things are. So that one is done. That one is done. Now, at this point, I've got the maroon face, and you can see that I could turn that maroon grey into position. The maroon yellow is placed and the maroon pink is placed. So that is the end of the edges for here. However, most of the time, or certainly some of the time, you could get a couple of flipped edges. So I'm going to set up for that now. Okay, well, you can see here that I have all the edges done except this grey maroon one, which should be flipped over, and this blue brown, which also should be flipped over. All the rest are done. This is the position that you want them, the sort of position that you want them, sort of opposite sides almost of that corner. So if you do end up with a couple, let's say you end up with these two that need to be flipped, you would just move them until they are opposite sides of the corner. For example, I might move this one to here and there before I start. So that's the position I want them. Now, all I want to do initially is 3 cycle them around. So this to here, this to here, this to here. So that's very simple moves. Just an up, up, down, down. It's simple if it turned well. There we go, that's done. Now I want to cycle them back into position, but you remember every time we've had some sort of misorientation, we've moved around a corner. So I want to now move this piece around to there and then cycle the 3 pieces back. So I just turn that face clockwise and that face clockwise. Now cycle those 3 back so that they go into position. Like so. And then return all the pieces, those 2 setup moves, and you'll see that those 2 have been flipped. They are now correctly oriented. Everything else has remained as it is, and we've dealt with those two flipped edges. So at this point, you look around, everything should look good. If you've got similar colors, it should be sorted because it will be guided by colors on other faces as well. And you could now happily go and say, well, I should be able to find a corner that goes purple, yellow, light blue, brown, green. Purple, yellow, light blue, brown, green. Any time you want, you can check that. So these edges are now all done. Relatively long stage just because they're all individually colored. We don't have pieces of the exact same color, and so we've got to place them in precisely their correct position. Well, we move on to the next piece type, which is going to be the pentagons. And the pentagons, there's still 60 of them, but they're going to be a little bit simpler because we've got multiple colors. And as per usual, I kind of like to start on a face and build up. So you can place them anywhere they go, but I've sort of found if you start on a face and sort of move around a little bit and build upwards, you're going to find the later ones a little bit easier. So at this point, that's the white face. I'd normally be going, let's place some whites, but they're all over the shop. So I've got I can either just forget the whites and start on another face where the pieces are closer, which I may actually do. I notice here, for example, I've got this yellow, the slightly duller yellow. Well, that's already got a piece in it, so maybe that's a good one to do. There's a duller yellow. That's pretty close. So we might go ahead and do that. Now, what I'm looking for to place these pieces is, if you look at where does this orange come from? If I turn it like that, it comes from this face here. So it's always two faces away. In other words, it's never coming from the adjacent face. It's always 1, 2. And that pale or the dull yellow is sitting there, and I can see that it needs to be there. So I might set up by turning it into that position. I'll say, what's the 3 cycle? Well, that's going to go to there. I can grab a third piece from anywhere I like that makes sense. So that's going to go to there. That will do. I could also come from there. That'll be a third piece. Where else? Could sort of come around to, where is this one going to be? The aqua piece there, whatever floats my boat. So on this occasion, I'm just going to place it, use that brown piece. So it's just turning up, up, down, down, and that yellow piece is in. I did have a setup, and so the nice thing about this now is I can be guided by the colors. I can see, well, that's supposed to be the brown face. There's the brown piece. I must have done that. Now, I'm terrible at resetting things with colors, so I've noticed that if I do 2 moves, I can generally do it pretty easily. So I like to keep the setups to 2 moves or less if I can. The third of these yellow pieces looks like it's there. So I just sort of go, how can I get this piece over to this position? I don't want to turn it there because that's an adjacent face. What if I turned it to here, because that'll go to there? Well, that's nearly, but I notice that I could just position it here initially and then turn it to that position. I would then also need to turn this face to put the grey into that position. That's starting to become a little bit convoluted for my liking. So I'll try another tack. Oh, this looks nice. You can see there's that grey will go to the pale yellow, which will go to the purple, which is on the face that yellow piece is on. So in fact, the only setup I should need to do there is that. And then I can go ahead and cycle these 3 pieces. Okay, so that is done, always doing 4 turns. I think it was this face that I had to return. Okay, you can see not only have those pentagons placed, but the actual center has as well. That's not going to happen. That's just fluke. It'll probably come out at some point again. And that is essentially how we're doing it. You remember maybe at the start that I said the move for placing pentagons is an up, up, down, down, like that. Well, it doesn't have to be these 2 faces. It's just anything where the intersection is that part there. So that's why I've just done sort of an up, and then something here. It's still that same intersection that's going to work. So perhaps I'll do one more face just to be really clear on that. Which face should it be? Well, I've got purple here and I've got a purple piece. Is there another couple close? One, oh no, they're not really close. Maybe that's not so good. Red, I've got a red piece in here, so perhaps let's do that one. It's a slight, is there two reds? No, there's only actually one red. The red is on the other side of the puzzle, which is kind of annoying. This one here is not. Let's see what we can do. That is going to, oh, that's actually super nice. So the green will go to there. The maroon, no, it's not super nice. I got really excited there. Actually, yes, it is. I'm still excited. Okay, so I can just cycle that red straight into position. And of course, you'll notice as we're doing this that none of the edges that we have done are being dislodged. So the edges will only be dislodged when all of that is the intersection of your turning faces. Okay, that last red piece was way up here, so I probably wouldn't try and do massive setups here. I would initially just go, can I get the red onto a good face? And that's a good face because that piece, where is that going to go? That turns up to the pink, which turns to that green. So if I can get it onto that face initially, now I can either 3-cycle it there, or I can just turn it down and then turn this face around so it's in position, as long as I remember to undo that. So what I'm going to remember is to do a clockwise turn of whatever this face is called. I don't even know now because the edge colors are different. That's the key thing, if I've got to remember that. Okay, let's go and place it. There's the fourth move. Clockwise turn of this face, I think it was. Do the colors come back? Yes, that comes back. There was another turn here. That's maroon. That's maroon. That must have been it. All the edges still look good. And those reds are placed. So you can see, pretty straightforward. A lot of work to do. I'm certainly not going to show most of the rest on camera, but I'll come back in a lot later. Okay, well, I'm cutting back in here. I've got a few left, and these last ones can tend to be really, really tricky. So I wanted to go through how I would approach them. You remember that I started with, I think, the yellow, maybe the red, and a couple of these. What I ended up doing after those is kind of getting some of these done, and I'm now going, okay, I'm going to call that white the bottom face again, and I got all of these lower ones done, which therefore left me the upper face and these upper ones as well. Now, if I think about how I'm going to finish them off, what I need is the upper face and two adjacent faces here so that I can kind of cycle like that. That's a fairly straightforward cycle, and it would involve turning these faces around to match. But they are the three that I want to finish with, which means I need to get this face done. You can see it is. I need to get this face done. It's not that far. And then if this is the upper face and I look at the remaining faces, I've also got this one that's done. That's done. This one here needs to be done. It needs a couple of yellow pieces in, and the blue and the brown. So because these are the last three, I've got to look at the others. That maroon is a key target. The yellow here is a key target also. Once those two are done, then that should just leave me these three faces. So the first thing is this maroon. Let's try and place that. It's got to go into that position. I can see that if I get that maroon over to here, then I can move it to there and kind of somehow potentially place it here by then using the upper face. That's the thought. So I'm firstly going to move that maroon not to here, but over to this position. Remember, these two faces aren't done. That face isn't done either. So I'm just placing it into a position that might be a little more useful. And I should also say, you may notice there, you may not. Look at that sticker. That was totally fine when I started this video, and all I've been doing is solving normally. Just really, really not great stickers. I don't know what is going on with them. It's pretty disappointing, but there you go. I can still see that it's grey at this point in time. Okay, so the maroon is there. Now, what do I do to get it where I need it? Well, if I consider that I want to place the, let's have a think, if I can get that maroon can go from here to here, and I can move that face around if I need to, the question then becomes, what's the third piece going to be? And that's where this becomes really difficult. So then my question is, should I put the maroon somewhere else? I've still got that face to play with. So for now, I've got to go, how do I get a piece onto that face using these other faces? As I said, it can absolutely come from over here, but I'm running out of other faces to play with. So let's think. That goes around to there, so that's no good. That one will come to there and go to that place. Well, that's possibly a good idea. Okay, I think I've just seen it. That position, that little aqua piece, which is where the maroon needs to be, I could turn that to there. That will cycle to there, which will cycle to here. Okay, so I just need to do another setup to there. Now that maroon is in the correct position, let's cycle it on. And remember to undo these setups. I think that was one of them. Those edges look good. And then the maroon face gets turned back. Okay, so that's left that done. That's done still. That maroon face is now done. 1, 2, 3, and then these two yellow pieces need to be done as well. So now I've got to kind of think, how do I do them? Well, that face can certainly be used. And can I get a piece from here to the top face? You can see that it's going to, that piece there will travel up to that position. Now you might think, oh, look, it's coming from there. That's perfect. Not really, because they're kind of on the same turn there. So that's not exactly what I want. What I need is probably initially to get one of these yellow faces to the top face using this face, because I think then I can manage to do it. So, yeah, remembering that I don't care about these two faces, I'm going to move that yellow piece to there initially. And actually, before I do that, what's the sensiblest place up here to have a yellow piece? Probably that one, actually, because it's going to run to there, I think. And that will come to there. I think it might actually be that piece there. Let's see. You know what? I'm not entirely sure, so I'm just going to get it to the top face now. That's the first thing to do. Get it to the top face using these three faces. Okay, it's up there. Now, how can I get a piece positioned? If I move that, that's going to be the most sensible place. But then I got to get something else happening. And so before I put that there, I really potentially need a little piece over there if I can get it. I can't do one here because it's on that same line again. That's the problem. It's not really involving another face. Let's just turn that back. See how easy it would be to get a dodgy piece to that position. It would actually be pretty straightforward. So that grey can turn to there, and that black or the grey can then turn to there. That would do the job. Okay, so that's probably the first thing I'll do. Anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise. So the three pieces are now in position. I'm going to remember to turn that upper face clockwise. And I'm now cycling using that grey piece to put the yellow one here. Okay, that's done the cycle. Let's undo the setups. That was one of them. I'm looking at colours now. That was another one. And that was the third one. Okay. There's my bottom. That's my top. These are the two faces I can use. I've got the second yellow in there. I've got to do something similar to get the third yellow. And you know what? A lot of me is thinking, do the same thing. That piece there at the moment travels to there. This one, that piece there does not travel to a sensible place, I don't think. It travels to the top. And obviously I'm not thinking of removing that yellow piece. I'm thinking if I put the pink to that position, yeah. Okay, I think that's good. Boom, like that. Okay, let's get this third yellow piece to there. That would be sensational if I could do that. So in order to make that happen, I'm going to rotate this face and then I can cycle those three pieces. Okay, that's done. Let's undo that turn that I did. And I'm seriously just looking at colors now, not remembering what I turned where. Okay, that's good. The yellow's there. That's going to cycle to this one, which is going to cycle to here. So now I just need to turn that face so that its position lands there. And I think I'm good. Yes, oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm pretty sure that has dealt with those. I'm looking around, it should only leave that, and that. The three colors, the aqua, the pink, and the gray, that looks fantastic. Everything else looks to be done. So now, obviously the three pieces that are involved are this piece, and this piece. So I'm not trying to place them initially. What I'm trying to place are the other pieces on the faces. When I turn this, it doesn't affect any of these pieces here. So I'm also happy to do those pieces later. The pieces that are affected and are problem pieces are these pieces here. Because if I turn this around, it also affects this face. So let's have a look. You can see there's an aqua piece done here already. I would like to get a second aqua piece here if I can. And I notice that there are aqua pieces on the top. I can happily turn that position around to receive an aqua piece. And remember, that one I'm not fussed about yet. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll move an aqua piece into position. Let's turn that one. In fact, let's turn them both anti-clockwise. That one and then that one. And then that should allow me to place an aqua piece there. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I turned them both anti-clockwise. What was the order? I think this one was... Yep, that's looking good. Okay, so I've got two aqua pieces there. The next one I need is a pink here. Now, in the same way, I'm going to turn this around, and you'll notice as I turn that around, that's the position. It knocks out these two, but they're already done. So that's awesome. So I need a pink into that grey piece. There is a pink in that position. So now I can just use this one as well. Go ahead and place the pink there. Okay, and then when we put this back, those sort of four pieces there are done. Now I've got this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Okay, so the next thing, because I don't care about these yet, I want to get these back ones. They're both grey, so I'd like to get this one here. And I've got grey pieces down here, so all I need to do is turn the upper face and place one of them. Doesn't matter which one. Okay, that's in. Undo that upper face turn. Now what that leaves me is 1, 2, 3 pieces which need to cycle. And you can see grey goes to there, pink goes to there, aqua goes to here. It's a really nice simple one to finish that off. So there is quite a bit of thought and work into getting these pentagons done, particularly at the end of it all. But you can see now they are done. And so we've got all edges in position. They have not been moved. We've got all pentagons in position, and you can kind of see the faces much clearer now. It's going to get even better soon because we're about to do the corners. And I mentioned at the start that I was doing the corners with a corner piece series. And the question is, do I hold my upper face like this with the triangle pointing towards me, or like this with it pointing away? Well, as it happens, I'm holding it in this manner. And the three corners that I'm going to be dealing with are these three corners. So what I want to do here is find one corner that just rolls into its position, just like that is the sort of thing I'm looking for. So let's see if it is easy enough to do that. It's not always possible, and so sometimes you might have a bit of a setup move that you've got to do. That's not going to do it. This initially can take some time just figuring out what's where. Is that one that's going to work? That's looking good. That will, okay, so that will go down and roll that way, which is going to be the mirror sequence, which is totally fine. So if you think to the corner piece series on a cube, it's an up. For this one, it's an up prime, and then a left prime, and then an up, and then a right. And that's what we're doing here. This is my upper face. This is my right. This is my left. So let me carry it out. It's going to cycle this one to here, this one across to here, and this third one up to there. Now, I don't bother trying to place another one in position to get two done because there's not that many of them. And honestly, I don't really know what orientation this one needs to be in order to correctly place there. So I just kind of do one at a time, and I'm happy with that. So here we go. This one is an up prime and then a left prime, and an up and a right, up prime and a left, an up and a right prime. And as we do this right prime, you can see that corner goes perfectly into position. What's really important though is that it has not touched edges and it has not touched the pentagons. So let me find one that I can do which is going the other way, and then I'll cut through and come back in at the last three. I suppose it would also be good to show how I would twist two corners. Let's just find one that we can do here. Is that in position? No, it's not. Let's have a look. No, that goes, I thought that was going there, but it's not. As I said, there may not be any that are perfectly placed or ready to roll. And you're kind of looking for this where you've got one of the colors on the face. Is that going to roll? Yes, it is. That's ideal. That's exactly what I was looking for. So this time, here's my upper face. That's going to roll down to there. That'll go across to here. That'll come up. Now you'll notice this one's done. So all I would do here is, and in fact I might see if I can get the one that belongs there into that position, even if it twists. So it's pink, yellow, purple, red, white. Okay, it's there. So I would have to move that. You know, I could do it. Yeah, what the heck. Let's just set up by putting that one there and then down to there. So I've just got to remember to undo that turn and then that turn, those two faces there. So the one that I'm interested in is this one here, moving down to there, across to there. Okay, so this time it's starting with an up clockwise and then a right, up prime, a left prime, and I'll continue. Okay, let's just undo those setup moves before I forget. That one, yes, looks good, and that one goes to there. Okay, the piece that I was trying to place was this one. That is now in position, as you can see. Now, what happened with the other piece? The other piece So I was knocking that out the way, and I wanted to try and place the other piece. You'll notice here that it is in position, but it is twisted somehow. So I might leave that there just so we can deal with a couple of twisted corners at the end. I'm going to keep working through and come back in a little bit later. Well, I'm back here. I've got this corner in position, but it's twisted. You can see it's kind of twisted one around, if you like. And I've noticed this corner here, yellow pink, has to go to this position. This corner here is going up to this position, and this one's going to there. And you'll notice that this is the one where I can just roll that down into its position. So that is how I think about it. Start off with that one there, rolling down to here. That's going to be my upper face. What that means is the third corner that I want, that's got to go into this position, I'm going to place over to, well, I mean, I've got a choice here because that third corner is going to go to there, but I also have this other corner that's twisted in position. And what I would probably do is try and only have two corners left to twist at the end, if any. So I'm going to put that one correctly. I'm going to grab this one and then, in fact, move this twisted one into the third place position just to try and get that out of position. So let's do that first of all. Okay, here comes that corner that's going to twist perfectly to there, or to place, I should say, perfectly into that position. Undo the setup move. Alrighty, now that's placed. That should leave me 3 to go. So that one there, this one here, I'll keep my finger on that, and then those two over here. Now, what I'm hoping to do, it's very doubtful that I can get all 3 perfectly placed at the end. I'm not really trying to do that. I'm trying to just get one of them placed. So I would first check, do I have any that just roll into position? Well, it's kind of tricky because this purple one belongs there. This pink one belongs there, and that's not going to roll. And this one belongs over to there. So none of them roll initially. So what I would then do would be to say, can I position, say, this one over here somewhere so it rolls to there? So I'll just firstly try that. That didn't work. What about, because I can deal with this third piece later if I have to. I just initially want to go, can I get that into a position where it'll help? It's not going to turn down there. I really want the green piece to be on that face. Well, there's potentially, is that going to work? No, that one doesn't work. I'm just trying to always think of a setup that might do the job. What about, and look, it may not be possible. It may not be possible. So then I'll just give it one more try, see what I can do. Would have to go, I don't even think that would work. I'm just sort of looking ahead and going, if I turned it like that, that does actually work. So it puts the green piece there. It's only 2 moves. So if you think about the 2 moves I've had, this pink face turned clockwise. Let's get it back to the start. So I can happily get that to the position to go there. The next question is, will the third piece easily enough go to there? And you can see, yes, it will. That's my third piece. And that's what this one is going to go to. So that's actually probably not too bad, except that I think that's going to be dislodged. Is it or no? No, it's not. Okay, so that looks good to me. So what I'll do is say, let's turn that clockwise and then this one anti-clockwise. That positions that nicely. What do I need to remember? This third piece has got to go down to here before I start. So I've got to turn, I've got to undo this green face. and then I've got to undo this face here anti-clockwise. Looks an absolute mess, and it is one of those occasions that I'm putting my life in my hands here. If I muck this up, there's an awful lot of work to redo it. But I've got the 3 pieces, I've got my upper face, I'm going to now carry that out. Okay, now that's done. If I can just remember, I get this one done first. I think it was this one, was it? Or was it this one? No, it was the green face first. I've only got 2 faces left to have to deal with. That's the piece, and I can sort of look at the colours and go, oh, that looks good, and then that looks good too. Alrighty. Now, that one is twisted in position. That's the one that I just placed. What's the other one? This one? No, this one here. Okay, so I've now got 2 pieces that are in position but need to twist. Now, this is great because I did want to demonstrate this. All the rest are done, you can see, and it's looking quite a bit better. In order to do this, the 2 positions that I want to have, I'm going to almost do the same thing that I did. And you remember there are 3 corners. There's this one, and this one. The 2 key positions are these 2. And the corner in this upper left position is going to twist 2 places anti-clockwise. The corner in this lower right position is going to twist 2 places clockwise. Now, what I mean by 2 places is you could have a piece where it's actually twisted 1. So say that yellow is there where the light blue is, and you look at it and go, well, that only needs to twist 1 clockwise. You would need to do 2 anti-clockwise and 2 anti-clockwise. You'd need to do it in 2 stages. Let's have a look what we've got here. I've got a piece there that has to go 2 anti-clockwise, and this one has to go 2 clockwise. Okay, so I would say leave that there, put this piece down into that position. And those are the 2 pieces now that are going to be affected. What do I do? Well, first thing is I carry out the exact same corner piece series that I have been doing. Just feeling things catching a little there, so I'm going a bit slow. Now, that has been done, and you'll know that those 3 corners have cycled. What I wish to do now is to turn this back face to put this corner over here. And then I'm going to do the mirror. I'm going to cycle those pieces back in that direction. So this time it's an up prime first. Okay, that's done. What was the middle move? This back face turn. So I'll undo that back face turn. Then I had one set up, which was turning the piece from here down to here. So I'm going to put that back. And you'll notice the 2 pieces that I was interested in was this one, and they are both twisted correctly. So pretty straightforward little method for getting those last 2 corners twisted. And that, of course, is all the corners. And now we come to the most annoying, tedious, and difficult part of the whole solve. And this is why I say, I don't want to jumble this thing. It's hard enough as it is. That part is solving these petals. And I found that it's so difficult to get even 2 done at once. I end up doing, if there's 60 of them, which there are, I think I take about 58 cycles of this thing. Well, there's worse things in life, I suppose. So what exactly is going on here? Well, what I'm going to do is think about 3 particular pieces, and I'm going to focus on, I'd love to focus on that one. I actually might turn it around and do this. Okay, Well, even that's annoying because that one, oh no, that's an edge. That one's in position and that's one of the 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3 pieces. These are the 3 pieces that I'm going to cycle. And I'm going to show the sequence initially going in this direction from the right to the left, left to the down, down to the right. It is going to move, if I recall, it's going to move centers, but that doesn't matter because we haven't done the centers yet. Okay, so let's consider, I'm a little bit annoyed that that's done, to be honest, because this is really nicely set up. That's what you're looking for generally, is a piece that needs to flip over that edge, and that clearly does. Let's see if I can find just another one of them. Probably won't be able to, but I'll have a quick look. I mean, it's not essential. It just would have been nice. And as I suspected, I can't really see one. So, okay, I'm going to be stuck with what I'm stuck with. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. I'll pretend that that hasn't been done. So, as I said, I want to cycle this to here, and this one up to there. What I'm going to do initially is do a very, very simple up, up, down, but I'm not going to do the 4th down move. So I'm going to move this pink green over to here. You'll notice when I do this, so up, up, down. That pink green has now been correctly positioned. Now what I want to do is place another piece in there. I want to place this 3rd piece into that position and move this out. The problem is that if I just do this now, like that, it is clearly going to involve this corner as well. And I don't want that to happen. So here are the middle 3 moves. I want to move that corner out the way by turning this one in. You'll notice this has not been affected, so that's okay. This turn, now move that piece in, and then undo that side turn. Now, you'll notice that that corner was the one that was there. So this is going to go back to where I had it initially. So now I'm going to undo the up, up, down that I did first. So instead of left, up, left, down, it's now left, up, right, down, left, down. And finally, undo those middle 3 moves. So I've got to move that corner out the way. I've got to turn that piece back down, and I've got to bring that corner back. Now what you will see is, firstly, all the corners are exactly where they should be. Secondly, that pink green which was there has landed over where I wanted it, and the piece that was down the bottom that was actually done, the black grey, has moved up here. That's it. For a sequence of this nature, I think it's pretty straightforward. It's simply that you got to do it so many times to place these pieces. It's the shortest sequence I can possibly find for this. I mean, are there shorter sequences? Oh, of course. I could just do an up, up, down, down, and that'll move these pieces around, but it won't move 3 of them, and it certainly won't move them pure. So it is what it is. So as I'm looking to do these, and guaranteed not doing anywhere near all of them, I'm initially looking for what I said first. Is there one that's sitting here that can flip over an edge? If I can't find that, the next thing I might do is just say, well, is there one that's somewhere that I can move up to its edge? Let's have just a quick look and go, what about this purple green? Whereabouts are the purple green pieces? Can't see any obvious one. Oh, there's one there. How easy is that going to be? Not, because I'd like to make it there. However, this is not a bad idea of some setups that I used. If I wanted to place that purple green, it's going to go into one of these. And so what I could do is just set that up and set that up. And now I've got the purple greens in position. Is that easy enough to get undone? Yes, it is, because I can pretty easily look at the colors there. So the question becomes, do I want to do the piece movement in this direction or in this direction? So if it was the one that I just showed, it's this green purple is coming up like that. It's rolling straight up, which is pretty handy to know. So if I do that one, it is going to place it like that, which may actually be what I want. I often find that I'm happy to have that there so that I can then place this one with its other piece, the other purple green. If I wanted it to go and actually place in position like that, then what I'm doing is the mirror sequence. So this one across to here, this one down to here, and this one up to here. I'm going to do the mirror sequence now to demonstrate it. It's exactly the mirror of what we just did. So here we go. We're going to go up on the right, up, down, and now I want to put this piece into position after moving that corner out the way. That's done. Now we'll undo. So up, down, down, and undo these turns. Whoops, wrong way. And bring that back. And we are done. It doesn't look done because of these setups that we did. So let's undo the setups as well. And you can see that I do have a purple green in there. So that's what that is. If I wanted to get the other purple green now, I could look at having this as my down and see if I can get a purple green up here onto this face. So how close is it? It's there, and I need it to go there. How easy is this? I'm not convinced it's super easy, this one. Although, I have to say it's on the right line for that. So it may. The problem is if I want to move that around to there, it's going to dislodge the position of the piece. So the other possibility is that I can move this to here and then like that. So 2 setup moves again. Now I've just got to think, well, in order for that to move down like that, I'm going to have to do the sequence that moves this to here, this down to here, and this up to here. So the mirror sequence, the one that I just did. So I'll do that again. It's an up, up, down, corner out the way, new piece in, corner returned, and undo the up, up, down, and undo the rest. Okay. You can see that has gone into its position as I need it to be. Let's undo these setup moves. I think that's one of them. That was another. So I guess you're starting to see what I mean by long, tedious, annoying, etc., etc. There's no real rhyme or reason. I guess you can do faces at a time or two pieces at a time, like I've just done these purple greens. You can do whatever you want. I'll probably just find one more piece, maybe to demonstrate some sort of setup move, and then move on after that. So what do we have? Is that aqua black anywhere near where it wants to be? Kind of, but not really. That's going to go, where is that one going to go? That's actually pretty good. All right, so let's do this aqua black. The aqua black is sitting there. I'd like it to be here so that it can place up the top. So if I turn it to there first, then that's 2 pieces away from where it belongs. And that's always where they go. So 1, 2, like that. Turn it. So there's only 2 setup moves. Now I've just got to go, do I want it to go up like this? Yes, I do. If I'm wanting it to go up like that, again, it's this piece movement like so. And so that means I'm doing it on the right hand side. I mean, it is a relatively quick sequence for what you're doing. So the other thing I like about it is that all the turns are kind of in the same place. And in fact, the pieces are also kind of in the same place, which is always very, very helpful. Okay, so we've done that. Undo the setup, undo the other setup. That's what I've got to do. There's only 60 of them. It's 12 moves. That's only 720 moves. I'll see you in 5 weeks. What year is it? Okay, enough frivolity. I've got 5 pieces left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what I'm trying to keep is 2 pieces here so I can move the other pieces into one of these third place positions. So I'm not really looking to solve these blue orange or blue brown yet. I'm going to solve some other ones. For example, this brown green, I wouldn't mind placing into that position. So I've got to move this piece to here or to here. So I would, initially I'd go, well, I can't really move that because it takes that one. What happens if I go this way? Ah, that's good. I turn it around like this. I can then turn this face and that is in position. So that green brown needs to go there. You can see it's matching to the corner, even though the other colors are a bit confusing. So this is the direction of the piece movement. So I'm starting with a right hand turn. And finishing that off, the piece is in. I've just got to remember what I did to set them up, but it was only 2 moves, so I can normally get that back okay. All right, now, as it's happened, it's put that one into position as well, but I don't really want that because, it's not bad, it's just unhelpful. So what I've got now is the grey maroon going to the grey brown going to the blue brown, like that. But that 3 cycle is not particularly helpful because I want 2 together. So I'm going to pretend this one is not done. And I'm going to say, how can I get this grey maroon placed? So first thing is, could I turn the position? I'd like the position to be there or on the other side. Either of them is fine. Or, to be honest, it doesn't have to be like that. I could turn this face sort of like that, for example, and see if I can get the position there. And as I look at it, that's actually a bit of a genius move because that grey maroon piece, I want to go here so I can turn it to there. That is now in position. So again, this is the piece movement. So many of this direction today. I don't know why. It's normally much more of a mix. Come on. Okay. I actually don't know where I am. I think I'm halfway through it because you just end up losing concentration when you have to battle with a face. I think this is looking all right. I don't think I've lost my place there. Okay. Now, that one had to be undone. And then it was this one as well. Alrighty. Does that leave me 3 to go? That to there, that to there. Yes, it does. All right. So now the question is, how can I get, I've got the 2 there. You can see I've got to get this one so that it's here or here. I think that is fantastic. Okay. So just turning it off and turning it around to this position. Now we are ready. And you'll never guess which direction it's going. This one. So this will finish these last 3 pieces. They are done. I think that had to go there. That had to go there. Is that it? That is it. Because what's that doing there? Yes, you guessed it. Another sticker fell off. Just vanished into thin air. I've looked and looked and looked for it. And it was 100% there before. So, don't know what's happened. It's another nail in the coffin of this sort of puzzle with the stickering. It was supposed to be good. Not so sure. Nevertheless, that completes these petals. That is a massive, massive stage of the solve. And now I'm left with the very last little section, which is so comparatively simple. It's actually a joy. I'm looking forward to it. You remember when I moved the corners around, I held it like this with the upper face, that triangle pointing towards me, and I moved these 3 corners. For the centers, I'm going to hold it with the triangle pointing away from me. I'm going to be moving these 3 centers like that. So again, what I'm trying to do here is just find a center that's going to roll. The really good thing is there's no orientation issues on this puzzle. So if I can, let's say that I found this one that rolled here, I would then say, could I get the light blue into that position? Doesn't matter how I do it, as long as it's there, it's going to solve. So let's see, first of all, here's a good one. This pale yellow is going to roll to that position. So I would then say to myself, either, that's a light blue, so either I'll get the light blue face around to this position. Is that easy enough? It most certainly is. So that is what I would do. The other option, of course, would be to get the light green piece to there, which would go solve. So just one setup move for that. I'll get 2 of these done. And as I said, the triangle is pointing away from me for the upper face. So it's exactly the same set of moves, which is why I like it so much. Come on, here we go. You can see the blue center has placed. I'll undo that setup move. That beige or pale yellow center is placed, so that's good. Really quite simple. Here I've got the pink going to the black. Well, I'm only going to get 1 because they really need to swap. So I just need to put some other center there. So perhaps I would try turning that one around and just place the pink initially. And that's done. What about the mirror sequence? There's a few of these to do. Obviously, there's 20 faces, there's 20 centers. I won't go through every one, but I will do one of the mirror sequences going the other way. So let's see if we can find one of them. I think that might be one, is it? Let's have a look. No, not quite. The green. No, still not. Here we go. The white's going to go to there. So this time, the white to there, the green along here, the orange to there. So I would either say, let's get the green face here, or let's get this color blue center there. Well, that's going to be problematic. So let's have a look at the green. If I can firstly find it. Oh, it's miles over there. Neither of them is reasonably easy, so I'm just going to ignore that and go ahead and place the white. So the mirror sequence, it's an upper anti-clockwise turn and then the left face to kick things off. Here we go. That is in, and you can see it's pretty straightforward. Just got a few of them to do. I'll cut back in later. And I'm back close to the end here. I've got 2 swaps. So I've got the pink and the beige that need to swap, and I've got that green and the purple that need to swap. So neither of them are really close to each other. So probably what I would do is just to say, I can only really place one of them. So that pink, I'll place the pink first, set that up to there. I just need another piece over here, and I can see that purple can come around to that position. So only trying to place the pink. So that is all done. Let's undo those setup moves. That's the first one. That's the second one. That should leave a 3 cycle. Yep, purple to there, green. So the green is going to go across to here. So that's ready. I just have to get the green face into that position somehow. It's just there. So how does that work? Probably like, no, not like that. Like that. There we go. That's better. You can see that's the setup. Even if it's on the other side of the puzzle, it doesn't really matter that much because it's only 2 moves really to get it over to where you need it. And then we can carry out this very final sequence of this solve. All right, that's done. Undo that setup move, and apart from that, this puzzle looks as good as it was the day it was solved, which it now is. So, as I said at the start, I don't want to jumble it at the moment. I've had enough of a battle with this puzzle. It's really a monster of a puzzle. It's not the worst puzzle ever made in terms of difficulty, I don't think, because it does retain its shape. Things like the Praxicopter, things like, I'm sure, some of the shape mods that I'm going to come up, the Radio Cube 3, the Radio Octahedron, that sort of thing, they are going to be quite a bit trickier purely from that point of view. But I have had a bit of a battle here, and that is a really good feeling and a nice sight at the end of it all. So that's the Radiolarian 3. Hope you enjoyed that, and as always, thanks for watching.